Hello, I'm Ruben Tilgner from Elysia. I'd like to show you the Ampressor, which is our creative compressor for mixing, recording and lots of other great stuff.
Für sehr kreative Zwecke, für Mixing, Recording.
Let's start with a story about how the Ampressor was born as a concept. Basically, the Ampressor is a result of the demo tour we made with our Alpha compressor in many studios in 2006. While all the mastering guys were really crazy about the Alpha, the first thing recording and mixing people did was to crank the compression and wonder that they could not really hear it because it was so transparent. And so the idea became obvious to build a compressor that can also go for the extremes and create some really interesting effects. Or, to put it into other words, a compressor that can go far beyond what one might know and expect from standard compressors. So this unit here is not only about the standard compression tasks of reducing 2 or 3 dB, but also about creative, interesting and wild things. Let's have a quick look at some of the features which make the Ampressor so special. The first detail worth mentioning is that you can also set negative ratios. Normally the ratio would stop at 1 to infinite, which corresponds to a limiter. But here we can go even further, with the result that the louder the input signal is, the more it is going to be reduced. This is really turning things upside down and generates interesting dynamic effects just by itself. What's next is the time constants that can be really fast. For example, 10 microseconds up to 150 milliseconds for the attack and 5 milliseconds up to 1.2 seconds for the release. This is a wide range, making the unit very flexible. Then we have a special function called anti-lock. This describes the way of how the release curve behaves. Under normal circumstances, we'd have a linear release after the compression phase ended. But with anti-lock, the signal goes down, stays at the bottom longer and then snaps up very fast. This results in a very obvious compression characteristic. The compressor starts pumping and grooving, just the things that so many electronic musicians, for example, are looking for. Here we have another feature I haven't seen on any other unit before, a limiter for the control voltage of the compressor. Usually the maximum amount of gain reduction would be determined by the values set with threshold and ratio controllers. Now I just push a button and limit the maximum gain reduction anywhere in its complete spectrum. This gives me the possibility to achieve completely different compression effects, because I do not longer have to care what the compressor wants to do. With the Ampressor, you can control this effect very easily and give your tracks a vivid and groovy feeling. Of course, the Ampressor can also be used for standard compression tasks like vocals, bass and especially drums. It could even be used for mastering because of its pristine signal path, but people have to be aware of the fact that it is a hard knee compressor. So I would not use it for every type of music. For things like classic music or a concert piano, it would maybe not be the best choice. But when it comes to genres like electronic music or rock, metal and every kind of music which has lots of energy in it, the Ampressor is just perfect, also on the stereo side. One feature I have not talked about yet is the built-in niveau filter, which follows the compressor section. You can use this special EQ to shift the complete frequency balance. So if I turn the knob into this direction, all frequencies above the adjustable center frequency will be boosted and everything below it will be cut. Of course, I can also do this the other way around. This is very cool, as I can change the overall sonic structure of the compressor with just one knob. It's really different than a standard EQ, as this special kind of shift can only be achieved with this kind of filter. What I also find important here are some words on technical parameters, frequency response and harmonic distortion. The first prototype of this unit behaved more like a little alpha and therefore just felt too clean. So people checked it out and just did not find it spectacular enough. It just didn't have enough meat. Therefore, I started to change certain signal stages in a selective process. Now if I turn the gain up, harmonic distortion will increase at the same time and drive the compressor into a certain kind of saturation. On top of this, I have added some frequency band in the input stage that you can detect by ear and even more with your measurement equipment. At around 20 kHz, you almost have half a dB of reduction, which makes the unit sound not so hyper clean and direct anymore. The high frequency signals were in the focus just too much before, but with this little twist, it just sounds right. I really have to say that by my experience, measurement values that are looking nice on paper often do not grant for a good sound. So for my development projects, the ears come first and only then follow the measurements. Just think of all that nice tube equipment out there. Just because it produces THD, it doesn't sound bad as a consequence, right? Okay, so here we have a flexible unit that can be used in many universal ways, but also for more specialized and creative tasks. It's truly one of my most favorite units, which I find myself using all the time. Thanks for listening.